All right, here we are for round two. Our opponent has won the die roll and chosen to go first, kept 7. We're in kind of an awkward spot with one land mana creature. I think that we can keep this. We do if we keep this, don't draw a land, play Hierarch, and Hierarch dies, we are most likely going to lose the game. But if we draw a land, even if Hierarch dies, we have a play, and then potentially further plays from there. So I'm going to go ahead and keep. I mean, the best hands in this deck are all 2-land Noble Hierarch, 1-land Noble Hierarch, or 2-land, or yeah, 2-land mana creatures, not necessarily just Noble Hierarch. Delver, all right. I'm just gonna go ahead and play Forest Hierarch, I think. No particular incentive to fetch just yet. Lingering Souls is quite good against Delver. And if my opponent is going to hold up Remand mana, which is generally what these decks are often going to do on turn 2, unless he's killing my Hierarch, in which case we're sad. Yeah. Oh god. Well, this is a kind of brutal opening. Alright, well, let's get a black-white and play a voice. Oops. Please don't flip. It's a big swing right here. Oh, okay, oh, and it's just Remand. It's just a card that totally stops me from being able to do anything to combat with these. Nice, nice. If he actually hadn't had Bolt, and I'd be able to play, Smiter, I'd be in a reasonable, possibly a reasonable position here. But now I'm pretty horribly wrecked. I mean, I can get, I do have voice, so I can get my tokens if he does cast spells in my turn. But I kind of just want to path one of them. Maybe he'll just remand my path. Well, he's mana leaking my path. That's worse than Remand. But hey, I got a token. Alright, well, we'll give him a beat down. So now we know our opponent has Remand. I'm basically dead. Yep. I was hoping that maybe he would remand it and then I get to play land and path one of those. I'd be at like 2 life, or rather I'd be at 8. Yeah, I'd be at 8 with that. Staring down the 2 of those, or one of them if it managed to resolve. But not a good position either case. Yeah, I'm just dead. We know he has the Remand. So, all right, sideboard-wise, we're definitely bringing in Choke. I don't know that I want Slaughter Pact. Probably do want Relic here. I imagine that my opponent is playing Snapcasters and probably also playing something like what's it? Gurmag Angler. So I don't know that I want Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize does a lot of damage to me. And this is a matchup where obviously my life total is under a bunch of pressure. I'd rather spend my mana and turns, and mana and life to interact with the board. I think I want to kick out a Leaf Liege. More expensive spells, your more expensive spells are kind of a liability in this sort of matchup. Don't think I want Slaughter Pact because I imagine other than Delver, my opponent is probably, well, he could be playing. There's a very reasonable chance he's playing young Pyromancer. If I knew he was playing Pyromancer, I would definitely bring in both Persecutions. I'm going to bring in one Persecution and take out one Liege. Because these can, even if he isn't playing Pyromancer, these can potentially hit Delver. Obviously not after it flips, but there can be some value there. And I think there's a reasonably high chance that my opponent does have Pyromancer in his deck, in which case I do think that I want Persecution. So let's try submitting the deck and giving it a go. Alright, I'm going to keep this. This is a pretty good hand. We do have Bird into Smiter. And we do have the Persecution if it turns out to be valuable. And it is much more likely to be valuable against something like a Delver on the play rather than on the draw. And clearly quite strong against Pyromancer, as I was saying before. Alright, well, smite you. Your turn. What you getting with your Delta? Are you just bolting my guy? You didn't bolt my guy. Oh, you're playing a Delver. Wait, what? What just happened? Why didn't you do that at the end of my turn? Why did this happen during his turn? Oh, I guess he must have had some mana trouble here. It's like the only thing that makes any sense to me is if he mana wise wasn't able to needed to fix his mana, like if he was a land short. It's the only thing that makes sense for him to actually play it that way, I think. So I think I just crush with Smiter and play another Smiter. I don't think playing like Persecution here, despite it having a window where it can guaranteed kill his Delver, is worthwhile. Here, I'm just deploying significant threat to the board. Alright, and he did not flip his Delver, that's good. I could play like Persecution and go for like a lethal attack here if he doesn't. Okay, he's gonna play Snapcaster. Alright. Well, now actually this Persecution is gonna be lethal. Boop. White. Black. Kill both your creatures. Give my creatures +1/+1. Slay you. Spell Snare. Oh, that's kind of rude. Well, it does mean that he basically is just going to have to chump block rather than actually getting any value out of the Snapcaster. So it's still good. Rather than killing him, it is, just... Oh, okay, he's just taking the damage. Wow. Does he just have a handful of Cryptics? How's he planning on beating these if he's not chump blocking with one of them? He's so low in life. Well, he's drawing a Lightning Bolt. Okay. So now with him drawing Lightning Bolt, all right, we don't need to theorize because the game is over. So yeah, sideboard-wise, I think I'm going to stick with the same plan. I don't think I want to board in a second Persecution. Do I want like a Sorin? Maybe Sorin is better than the Wiltleaf Liege. Can make a creature that can block a Delver. The life swing can actually be pretty big too. I'm going to board in the Sorin for this. I'm going to try that. Because yeah, I mean this is a matchup where it can come down to very much a race, I feel like, between Delver and my guys. This hand is pretty bad. We can't even cast Lingering Souls. We don't have a 1-drop, we don't have a 2-drop we can cast. We're going to mulligan. And we definitely have to mulligan this because we can't cast a spell, so Alright, well, we're keeping this. It's not a good hand, but... Alright, at least it's not a Delver, it's a Serum Visions. Alright. Play Relic. I'm just going to Relic him right now. Hopefully my opponent's hand is all Snapcaster Mages or something. That was a, let me look in the chat, a top bottom on Serum Visions. This is, right now my opponent doesn't have any sort of offense going, and Relic actually makes it so that the sort of advantage that the blue deck can gain from time passing and like filling their graveyard and things like that isn't necessarily here. Alright, we're gonna Relic him first. So 1, 2, if my opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can just Relic now. So he can't cast Gurmag Angler? Gurmag Angler is 7 to cast. So he could cast Tassiger if I let him untap and play a land. Maybe I just Relic now. And remove it. It's one of the awkward things with Relic in this matchup is that it feels like you need to, if you do think that your opponent is playing with Delve cards, you have to be pretty aggressive with using your Relics. It's an argument possibly for actually just having Rest in Peace, because you don't necessarily have to continue to commit. You just, or commit to dealing with it at one point. You can just have the Rest in Peace sitting there and play. Yeah. Kind of want a Relic here. Prevent my opponent from possibly delving something. Maybe I should wait until like upkeep. Yeah, they definitely should have waited for my opponent's upkeep. Now we can actually just play the giant thing. For some reason I was not thinking that through well. Yeah, here comes a Gurmag Angler. Or Tassiger. Okay. Well, that's silly of me. Definitely should have waited. Should play Kitchen Finks here. Because I can actually resolve like a card that costs a reasonable amount of mana, whereas if I just like cast Path, then my opponent would start the turn, next turn with a bunch of mana, and uh-oh, Tasker attacking is not a good sign. Alright, well, Zealous Persecution is not good right now. I will give him Inquisition, I guess. I don't want to give him information though. Maybe I'll just give him Lightning Bolt. Yeah, I'll give him Lightning Bolt. And I'll path this. Yeah, this game could be a lot different if it weren't for that pulling the trigger and Relic there. Should have done it during my opponent's upkeep. I didn't want to give him Inquisition because I didn't want to give him the value, like the possible value of getting like my Persecution and having him play something that's good against, but also more importantly, I didn't want to just have like the perfect information of knowing my hand here. Oh god, is this another? No, this is a Gurmag Angler. Okay. That's a good draw. Getcha. Alright, so we knew that that lightning bolt was there. Now there's 4 unknown cards. I need to play Siege Rhino. And this is actually a pretty big deal. Getting to resolve a powerful 4-mana spell can often be difficult against a deck with cards like Remand and Mana Leak. My opponent has a lot of cards now, though. This is bottom topped here. Is it Staticaster? Okay, well, Kitchen thinks it's gonna die. It's actually also very good against every future Lingering Souls, which I would not be surprised that I started drawing now. Oh god, another. Oh, Murderous Cut. Okay, well that's actually also quite good against me. So, Voice is pretty good. It looks like my opponent's deck is much more of a sort of Grixis control deck now, at least after sideboarding. And yeah, is it Staticaster gets to kill this potentially? Yep. I mean, I could Zealous Persecution and try and save it, but that's also possibly just a massive spew of my Persecution. I think I want to just play this now. Could get Mana Leaked, but I also want to be able to possibly play like a 4-mana spell if I draw it. So there's another Voice. My opponent's on a 1 card, but a lot of my cards are not particularly good against the Staticaster. Like my Mana Creatures, my Lingering Souls, Snapcaster. Okay. Yep, Snapcaster Bolt. I really need to draw another Siege Rhino. Even just a Loxodon Smiter would be good, but getting bricked for my Hierarch by the Staticaster here is pretty bad. Oh, and this is going to be even worse. Keranos. All right, we are probably dead. Yep. And this is, one of the things when I don't have a draw that's actually able to put a significant amount of pressure. I did double mulligan this game, and kind of have just been narrowly ground out of resources here. So, I mean, that's just kind of going to happen sometimes when you, oh god, a Delver. When you double mulligan. I don't know. Like, it feels like this matchup is actually probably pretty reasonable for me. I think that cards like Smiter are clearly very strong here. Siege Rhino actually also seems strong. It seems like my opponent's deck is primarily, but though this Staticaster is kind of crushing me. If the Staticaster weren't here, I actually think I'd be in great shape. But the fact that it's blanking one of my best cards is very problematic. I mean, we're just going to lose to this Keranos, even if we're not losing to... we're actually just dead to actual Keranos, the card. The creature Keranos. I guess I could draw Path to kill Karanos now, but then I'm just going to die to these. And we're dead. So yeah, there, game one, we kind of got stomped by the Double Delver draw, and, that's the sort of thing that's going to happen. Game two, managed to pull it out with big creatures. Game three, double mulligan, and actually fairly narrowly lost a resource battle. If I'd had, one more threat, a little bit earlier, I think I would have been able to pretty handily win this. I do think that the fact that the Delver deck is capable of winning just with those Delver draws is a pretty big deal, and does this deck is more based on having cards that line up particularly well with what your opponent has, and when a card like Lingering Soul isn't good because of a card like Staticaster, it definitely, you pay a big price when you're not able to actually get value out of those things. My voices would have been great, except for, again, the Staticaster. So my opponent had the tools that he needed to actually deal with my otherwise difficult to handle threats. So, and other than that, like, a lot of the stuff in here is it is pretty mana heavy. So you are going to end up in situations where you flood relatively significantly, like we saw in the first game. Wait, I'm thinking of the last match as far as the first game. No, the second game of the last match. Anyway, you can definitely flood out because you have a lot of mana, and if your opponent is able to neutralize your cards that are powerful with that mana, you are in going to be hard pressed to actually win. So, don't think this. I think this matchup seems like it's pretty reasonable, but I actually think that it might be best to be on the Grixis side of it, just because the tools that the Abzan Wiltleaf deck has are not particularly well suited to dealing with stuff like Delver. Like, they can just tempo you out quite easily. Oh yeah, the first game we just got just tempoed and mana leaked to death. It was the last match that I had the mana troubles. And then this game, we got out resourced because we double mulliganed, and that's kind of something that happens sometimes. So anyway, we're gonna go to the next match. Not really happy with how this deck feels like it lines up against the metagame so far. This deck was sort of originally built to be good in a sort of fair deck style of metagame, when you're fighting against lots of decks where things like Lingering Soul's Voice and the like were quite strong. That metagame doesn't really exist right now, so maybe it's just not well positioned. So anyway, let's keep going.